It's an interesting word she called it an evaluation. Isn't that an interesting word? It's exactly what it is. It's an evaluation. You're giving yourself value. An evaluation. You'll make a judgment about yourself dozens of times a day. Most of it's unconscious. That's just the way you are. But what we try to do is pull those evaluations to the surface a little bit and have you question them for a minute. Wait a second. Who says I'm a 1, a 3, a 6, whatever? And the reason is because at the deepest level, every one of us is eternal. There's a play called OurTown. Have you ever been to OurTown before? How many of you ever watched OurTown? Got a chance to go watch my hero in New York City do OurTown. It was Paul Newman, and he did it like 2 summers ago, and he's like 79 years old. And he was the stage manager. And OurTown is a very sparse stage. There's not a whole lot of sets. It's just basically a couple of chairs here and there, and Paul Newman standing over on the side, basically just talking to the audience and basically saying, there's a family. We're going to go to this family in New England, and we're kind of peek in on what's going on. And the first scene is about this young boy and this young girl and this little family. They were in separate families, and there's a young girl in the family, a young boy in another family, and they're to have interaction. It's very banal. It's very simple. It's almost boring, really. And the next scene, or the next act of the play, is Emily is now grown up, and her young man is grown up, and they fall in love and they get married. And so the second act is them getting married and how exciting that moment would be, etc. Now the third act is now something tragic happens, and in giving birth to their child, she passes away. And so the third act is basically about her showing up in a cemetery, basically, and the stage is very sparse, and there's just a whole bunch of chairs sitting up there, and people are sitting in the chairs, and they are the spirits that are in that cemetery. And Emily shows up, and she's a young woman. She maybe is 25, 30 years old. She's just barely arrived. She's just taken her seat. They're watching the cemetery as the people are falling on the grave and just in complete, total shock that this young gal would be taken so quickly. And everyone is devastated. And the people sitting in the chairs are saying about it to Emily, don't watch it. You'll get over it after a while. And she sees her husband, stay after her. Everybody's left, and he collapses on the grave, and it's very poignant because it gives you perspective on everything. And the stage manager says this speech, which if you'll put up on the screen, we can read together. Paul Newman is standing on the side of the stage. He says, "Now, there are some things we all know, but we don't take them out and look at them very often. We all know that something is eternal. And it ain't houses, and it ain't names, and it ain't earth, and it ain't even the stars. Everybody knows in their bones that something is eternal. And that something has to do with human beings. All the greatest people ever lived have been telling us that for 5,000 years. And yet you'd be surprised how people are always losing hold of it. There's something way down deep that's eternal about every human being." And then the play goes on and finishes in a kind of a positive way, and it's very profound. It won the Pulitzer Prize, and I think it was 1951, and it's been played ever since. It's really a masterpiece. It's incredible how all the pieces come together. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's about eternal stuff, and for me, that's the power of what's going to drive you to the success you really want, is when you understand the big picture of the whole thing, how it all fits together.